Hey, it's Jim Ross. I'd like to personally invite you to register for the upcoming Self-Storage Summit. This is going to be the best self-storage education on the planet, and even better, it's free to register. Hi everyone, it's Jim Ross again with the Self-Storage Summit coming at you with another session here. I got Mark Helm with me. When I was putting this together, I had my little hit list of people I want to make sure was a part of this summit, and you're on that list, so I really thank you for being a part of this.
I'm thrilled to be here.
I know you've been doing a lot of content and all that kind of stuff out there for a number of years now. I'm like, all right, I got to get Mark on here. So I know you're crazy busy, so appreciate you putting this together. And you've done something like this in the past. That's why I really was hoping that you would bring this kind of topic to the summit, and you're graciously enough to say yes. And that's going on some performance indicators for storage. So it's going to be a lot of value for everybody. So without having me blab on too much, I'll kind of hand it over to you.
Well, good. Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. And I've been in and around the storage business for a long time. And I've always told people, I used to always tell people, if you keep your eye on about 5 things, you'll have a great business. And people would ask me, well, what are those 5 things? So I ended up writing them down. And then at some point I created articles on them. And then I created an ebook from those articles on them. And now here's some training from the ebook, from the articles on the 5 KPIs. And all a KPI stands for is a key performance indicator. That's like a benchmark number that we watch. The storage business is a very specific type operating business. It's not only a real estate play, and it's a very good real estate play, but it's also an operating business. And like any operating business, if you keep your eye on a few things, you'll have a great business. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I always tell people it's very much like building a shopping center and then opening the store in the shopping center. So we're going to talk about the store part today, not the shopping center part. And a little bit about me, just why would anyone pay any attention to what I say? My wife often doesn't pay much attention to what I say.
Join the club.
But when I talk about storage, she'll listen. I've been in and around the self-storage business since 1995. My entry point was as a commercial real estate agent. I got a CCIM designation, which is a designation for commercial in the commercial real estate industry. And very soon after getting that designation, I was contacted by a REIT, and they asked me to help them find self-storage in our market. And that's what I did. And by working with this REIT, I learned a lot about the storage business. I learned how they operate a storage business. I learned what they look at and what makes a good one and a not so good one. And then in the late 90s, I tried to figure out how a guy like myself could get in the business. And I did. I put together a portfolio. And then that portfolio got bought by a REIT. And then I came back out again in like 2007, 2008. Good time if you remember. And I started my second iteration in the self-storage business. And pardon me?
That's a good timing there.
Oh, yeah. We put it under contract on '07, and then everything started happening.
Yep.
I actually had a great conduit loan, CMB loan, and all that went away, but we still closed on the deal. But the thing is, I've made every kind of mistake you can make. And my goal is right now, I share a lot of what I do and what I've learned so that smaller investors like myself can get in the business and not make the same mistakes. The self-storage business is by far the best real estate play and business play I think there is for a small investor like us. And but there's quickly becoming a gap between how the REITs and the larger players run their business and how the smaller operators run their business. And part of my mission is to close that gap so that smaller operators like ourselves can compete effectively with the larger players. And this KPI, these 5 key performance indicators, is a big part of that. Because if you keep your eye on these things, you'll have a great business. And here's what I've learned in my years in the storage business and in my years in life. As you start your business and grow your business, what's important is to have some type of standardization in it. What I found is most smaller investors will they become very dependent on people, and I've seen over and over again, and I've done it myself, where I'll in essence just turn a facility over to a manager, and you become very people dependent as opposed to system dependent. And as we started growing our company, we started putting systems in place, and a big part of that was, here are the benchmarks we look at month after month, and here's the benchmarks as a manager you're going to be assessed on. You're accountable for these key performance indicators. And what I've learned is whatever you put your attention on tends to expand. I mean, even in the world of physics and quantum physics, by merely having someone observe a phenomena in the world of physics, that observation itself begins to influence the fact that's being measured. And that's clearly what goes on in our business. By us putting our attention on something and measuring something, we begin to have an impact on what that number is. And everyone in our organization, from the managers, even to the part-time people, to the partners, to our investors, know that these are the benchmarks that we're measuring month by month. And much of the, if not all of the managers' performance is measured by how well they perform on these 5 things. So what are the 5 things? Well, what we measure are income per month, occupancy rate, percent delinquent or delinquency percent, retail sales per move-in, and we measure tenant insurance. Now, if you're not selling tenant insurance, you could measure sales over last year, or you could measure something like how many people are taking automatic billing, or whatever your 5th one you want is. But for most of us, it really is tenant insurance because we're starting to sell it. Yep. Now, I'm going to go through each one of these individually, but our managers, when we walk into a facility, and I ask, what's an occupancy rate, or where are you in terms of income today? Yeah. They know.
They know it, huh?
They know. Because I put our attention on it, so they put their attention on it.
Thanks for supporting the show. I want to let you know that we've just opened up our brand new free private Facebook group. There I'll be having some extra special content not found anywhere else. If you really want your facility to be a success in today's market, then this is going to be the place for you. You can request to join us at selfstoragecommunity.com or search for Self Storage Domination Community on Facebook.